Hey everyone, welcome to today's episode of Empowered in Health. I am so excited you're here for another conversation around mindset, mental health, protecting our peace, cultivating healthy habits, and really digging into what does it look like and feel like to take care of our health from the inside out every single day. So today I want to talk a little bit about how progress is not linear. And this is something that's been on my heart actually all morning as I've kind of gone through more of my own personal journey, and as I kind of got to this point of checking in with a coach I've been working with, it really brought me to this message of remembering that progress is not a straight, perfect road, right? It's really, truly not. And the more we can understand this and embrace this, the more we can really, wrap our heads around what does it really take to make sustainable progress and change on our health and wellness journey. So for those of you that maybe have been around for a while, or if you're new to following me, welcome. One of the things that I've been talking about most recently on my personal health and wellness journey is just how stuck I have felt, right? I've been going through a lot of really interesting mental and emotional hurdles over the past handful of years, gut health struggles, hormonal imbalances, and really learning more about my inside out wellness and what is it going to really look like and feel like to take care of my health as it evolves over time. I turned 41 a couple weeks ago, and it really is true. As I've turned 40 and gotten further into my 40s, my body and my brain and just everything related to wellness and taking care of my health has changed. It has felt significantly more challenging and harder. It just has. Every single day, I'm learning so much more from different practitioners, experts in the women's health field, learning a lot directly through certifications that I'm going through and coaches that I'm working with, right? And I just want to be transparent about this process and this evolution because I know women go through it. So many women go through it. And one of the biggest hurdles for me personally has been really managing body image, really managing sustainable health habits, right? What does that look like as far as evolving over time goes? Because again, a big part of my story has been what was once working no longer works. And I've had to uncover why that is. Right? Why has, my body shifted in so many ways? What do I need to be doing differently when it comes to habits? And how do I need to be paying attention to how I really feel, right? Like what are the symptoms that I'm feeling? What are the most intense? And how do I need to be shifting how I feel? So one of the things that I actually most recently went through was a 12-week program with a macronutrient coach. Great program, great coaches, great support, but I made little to no progress, which is fascinating to me because again, it's uncovering more of what do I need to continue to learn, but also what do I need to continue to unlearn when it comes to everything health and wellness up to this point. As I've, grown older, the hormonal component, the gut health component, and paying attention to symptoms that I'm feeling on a daily basis have been a huge piece to the wellness puzzle for me over the past handful of years. And, going through a program and making very little progress feels very defeating. Right? It feels like, what's the point almost? It feels like, why am I even doing this? And it feels like just defeat, right? It feels frustrating. It feels defeating. It feels just demotivating. But here's what I've learned, right? Here's the message I want to share. I'm sharing this truth and I'm being honest about this because I know women go through this. I know women commit to programs. I know women work with coaches, work with trainers, work with mentors. And we drum up this idea in our head of how we want progress to go and what we think success should look like and how we need to be going from A to Z on this specific timeline in order for it to feel like or be like we expected, right? Women go through this all the time. I see it in my own coaching business. I see it in my own personal health and wellness journey as I'm sharing right now. And I want to continue to be a voice that shares like the real struggle through it and how we can continue to embrace the process and the journey and essentially shift our mindsets, right? So that kind of brings me back to the message for today of how progress is not linear. I wish that we could commit to a goal, commit to a journey, change one habit, and it would just be straight and perfect and upward motion and forward progress from then on. But that's not the reality of life, right? There are setbacks, there are disappointments, there is adversity, there are things we have to internally uncover. And it's just so important to remember that in every process and journey, there are still things that we can be learning and growing into, right? There are still things that we can be embracing and learning to get better at. There are still things that we can, evolve from. And that's really where my headspace is right now. I let myself feel emotional this morning as I kind of got into this headspace of feeling like I still haven't made much progress. Like I still haven't been able to create sustainable change. Why does this feel harder? Even after a 12-week program with a coach, why is it still feeling the way it feels? Here's what I know. I still learned a lot during the program. I still learned more of what my body needs in the program. I learned a lot about what I need to unlearn as far as thought processes, as far as guidelines, as far as things that I thought were maybe healthy habits that really weren't serving me at all. I learned a lot about those kinds of things. And most importantly, I was reminded that progress isn't linear. And while I'm still not where I want to be, and there's still more I want to figure out about my body and my brain, and there's still more I want to work into as far as strength and progress as I get into mid-40s and further into perimenopause and so much more, there's still so much that I learned and grew from inside this process, right? And I want to share this because, again, women get so down on themselves so quickly. And it's just a misalignment, not only of maybe expectations, but more so of what you're doing and not celebrating that enough. I know for me, I'm a type A perfectionist, super organized, like to get things done kind of gal, right? And I can get really hard on myself when things don't go to plan, or when things seem to go slower than I thought they would, or when things, aren't as organized as I would personally do it, or whatever, right? I've had to learn these things about my personality. I've had to learn these things about who I am. And in that process, again, I've had to learn that evolving into different ways of thinking is so important, because if I don't, I end up beating myself up way more than I deserve. That's the message for you too, right? Remembering that progress is not linear. Progress is not perfect. It's not going to be a straight line upward and forward. There's going to be all kinds of dips and moves and all kinds of stuff that's going to happen, right? That's just what the reality of life is, especially when it comes to health and wellness, and especially as our bodies and our brains evolve over time. The other thing that I want to make sure that you understand is it's so crucial to make sure that you're not being overly hard on yourself. I know that I do that too. And I know that when I feel like I fall short, or if I'm missing something, that I'm broken, I'm extra broken, or that I'm missing some major piece to the puzzle. And I know that's not the truth. I know for me, it's just going to continue to take more diligence, working with practitioners and doctors that can help me continue to understand my body and my brain, continuing to work on my mindset, right? Continuing to work on my expectations, continuing to work on, what my definition of success and progress looks like, continuing to understand that I am doing everything that I can in my power that I understand, right? And also being humble enough to know the importance of leaning on other people, right? I am someone who firmly believes that every great coach has great coaches. Every great coach has mentors and people that they lean on for advice, for direction, for guidance. That's very much where I am, right? So yes, I'm a health and wellness coach. Yes, I'm a personal trainer and a nutrition coach. And yes, I will continue to guide women and help people on their journeys and continue to empower people to step into the driver's seat of their health. Absolutely. At the same time, I'm also going to make sure that I'm doing that for myself. So I need to make sure that I have coaches in my corner, that people that are guiding me, people that are my mentors, people that are helping me learn and grow and unlearn and really get in tune with my body and my needs and what it is that I need to continue to grow into. And so I just wanted to kind of share this little story with you guys today. I think, again, the thing with health and wellness, and especially as we grow older, we can get so hard on ourselves and so down on ourselves when the progress isn't linear. And instead of really celebrating what we did learn and what we are growing into, we just get so overly negative sometimes about the things we didn't accomplish or the goals we didn't meet. And I know for me, again, after this 12-week program, I am feeling defeated today. I am feeling what did I not hone in on enough, or what did I maybe miss? But when I really unpack it and think a little harder about the overall process. Like, we went through the holiday season, and I did make some level of progress, just not the progress that I was looking for or hoping for. And most importantly, I learned a lot of great things about my body and things that I need to be paying attention to with fueling well and all of those kinds of, topics. So it's more about, again, focusing in on what you are doing well and celebrating that. Now, at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to be defeated or disappointed if there's something that you maybe haven't hit yet when it comes to a goal, or you still feel a little bit lost. You still feel like you're figuring things out. You still feel like you are trying to get to know, the habits that really work best for you or your body overall. Like, that's me right now. That is still me. 3+ years later, that is still me trying to figure out what are the best habits for my body. How am I going to create sustainable body composition change, which is a goal for me? How do I really continue to lean into fuel that helps me feel my best and feel energized and feel good? I still have moments where there's certain foods I eat that I'm not sure if they're really good for me. They cause inflammation. They cause bloating and gas still. They cause, my body not to feel that great. So I'm still pinpointing potential food sensitivities or potential gut health, additional things that I may need to do and uncover. It's a process and a journey, and it's hard. It can be exhausting. It can be frustrating. It can be defeating. I'm not going to sit here and say that that's not reality, because it is. And I think as women especially, we have to normalize talking about how frustrating it can feel, and how defeating it can be, right? But at the same time, in the same breath, we have to do the work to empower each other to remember that we are doing the best we can. And if we're putting in the effort, if we're making the choice to learn, if we're staying persistent, and if we're doing the education and the research and reaching out to practitioners and coaches and mentors that can help us and guide us, that's how we learn and grow together. That's how we can make forward progress. And, again, I just want to be a voice that continues to share the truth and the reality around what happens with health, especially for women as we grow older, as we get into midlife. Because I can tell you firsthand, my health has drastically changed since about 38 and on. And it has been an uphill battle in many ways, trying to figure out, how do I get to a place that feels really good from the inside out? And I'll be honest in saying some of that is mindset, right? Some of that is really embracing that I am in midlife. I am growing older. My body is changing. My brain is changing. My priorities are changing. And I have to understand, how am I aligning my mindset alongside the expectations I have for my health goals? That shifts. And that also is another piece of the puzzle that we have to slowly kind of work into and understand. So overall, I pray that this message today reminded you of the importance of embracing the imperfection of the journey, right? At the end of the day, we have to find ways to embrace the imperfection of it and find the joy in it, as I've kind of shared on the podcast the past couple weeks. Because if we don't, we're missing the whole damn point, right? It's not really healthy or fun or exciting then. And that is a delicate balance we have to pay attention to when it comes to working towards things like health goals. And really, again, with the imperfection, embracing that progress is not linear. And that's okay. That's normal. It's okay if it feels that way. The whole idea is not letting it defeat you, not letting it stop you, not letting it hold you stuck in your tracks. If you feel like you're stuck in some way, or if you're feeling like you need, more direction, more ideas, more guidance, more mentorship, first of all, you can always reach out to me, right? It would be a joy to connect with you to talk about your personal health and wellness journey, how I may be able to support you with fitness, nutrition, lifestyle, and things like that, or how I can potentially help you get connected to practitioners that can, do hormone testing, do consultations, and help you really understand what may be going on with your body on an internal level, right? Same goes for gut health. I'm happy to get you connected to practitioners and women-owned businesses and amazing resources that I have in my network that can potentially help you as well with potential gut health issues. There's so much to learn. And the way we learn is by sharing, right? The way we learn is by talking about our stories. The way we learn is by going deeper and being vulnerable. And that's my hope with continuing to share my story and being vulnerable here on the podcast, is I want women to know, the emotion of it all is real. The symptoms you may be feeling are real, but there are answers and there are hope. And that's my message above all else. Even though it's imperfect, even though progress is not linear, I have hope because I've already seen slow change and slow growth And I've been able to get to places where I feel better, right? It's not what I expected. It's not on the timeline I want. It's not like a quick overnight thing, but the work is worth it. Because again, I do this work because I want to feel my best. I want to look my best. I want to feel my best. I want to be here for the long haul. But I more importantly do this work for my family, right? I do it for my kids, and I do it because I want to be here. Longevity health is the name of the game. That is my ultimate goal. How am I really making sure I'm staying ahead of any potential chronic issues? How am I making sure that I'm staying ahead of, really taking care of the necessary things in my lifestyle so I can be around and energized and excited and with my family and with my kids, right? So again, I pray and hope that this message helped you in some way today. I pray and hope that it made you feel affirmed in something you may be feeling or experiencing. And above all, I hope that it empowers you to step out and advocate for your health in any way that you may need. In closing, I want to make sure that you guys know this. I am a part of the Sync community, right? I have my Sync certified coach certification through Jenny Swisher and the Sync digital course. It is basically a community focused on women's health, female physiology, cycle syncing, and just teaching us how to advocate for our needs as our health evolves over time. One of the things that we are doing inside the Sync community is we're offering a free webinar on January 31st. It's going to be at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can actually go to the show notes of this podcast and register to join that webinar. It's going to be a great opportunity to come in and learn and talk more about a lot of the things I talked about today, right? Like, why do I have weight loss resistance? Why am I experiencing all these potential symptoms? Why does everything feel a little bit different or a little bit harder the older I get? The training I was once doing or the eating and fueling I was once doing no longer works. Why is that, right? And just helping you get educated on how to get knowledgeable and how to advocate for what you may need in your day-to-day health journey. So please join us again. In the show notes, you can register for the emails that will set you up to get you into the webinar. Again, it's going to be on January 31st at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Would absolutely love to have you. And at any rate, please don't ever hesitate to reach out if there's anything that I can do to support you on your inside out health and wellness journey. Remember, even though progress is not linear, there's still so much we can learn and evolve into and grow from in every single situation. Thanks for tuning in today.